Eredivisie team Sparta Rotterdam. Sparta struggled last season but are now looking to the future with new coach and ex-Plain legend Frank Rijkaard, while Leeds will be looking to kickstart their Premiership campaign. Let the battle commence.
Hello and welcome to the Eneco Stadium here in Rotterdam, where Leeds United continue their pre-season preparations against Sparta Rotterdam. Well, whilst it's been a rigorous ordeal for the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool, who've travelled far and wide with some high-profile engagements along the way, Leeds haven't overexerted themselves. It's been a more gentle limbering up on field. The weather, as you can see here tonight, particularly inclement. It's been raining hard for the last half an hour. Leeds in the blue shirt's going to get us underway. The teams this evening: Oliver De Koor, who's recently had a hamstring problem, does start for Leeds United, as does Rio Ferdinand, which ahead of England's match against Holland and that forthcoming international against Germany, as Robbie Keane goes through the middle, should please Sven Goran Eriksson. And tonight's strike partnership, last season's top scorer Mark Viduka and Robbie Keane, that you've just seen, who's gone through the middle there. He's had a really prolific opening to this campaign. Indeed, Leeds are either in the greatest shape of their lives, having scored 31 goals and conceded just 7 prior to this, or the opposition seemingly had little interest or was perhaps a little weaker than they would have liked. But they should get a test here this evening, that's for sure. Frank Rijkaard in his first home match in charge for the club. 9 for Leeds. Viduka getting across. Robbie Keane's in the middle, and Robbie Keane scored. What a start for Leeds United. It is a minute or so of open play gone and Leeds in front. Well, he won't get too many easier chances than that. Eric Bakker's cross, and as cool as you like from Robbie Keane. Well, Sparta Rotterdam never have been relegated outside the top flight in Holland, and they've come awfully close over the past couple of seasons, ending up in the playoff matches at the end of each of these Eredivisie campaigns. And Leeds should really have no trouble brushing aside what is one of the weaker opposition in Holland. They've really struggled. They've very little money to contend with, and it's a collection seemingly of journeymen. But this man here, Adam Winter, has arrived on loan from Ajax, where he's been frozen out by Adrianza along with Richard Witsche. But he has stayed silent, but he's come here, he said, for a year until Adrianza departs. Maybe he knows something that Adrianza doesn't, but Ajax, of course, have gone out of the UEFA Cup, and the rumblings of discontent are already very audible indeed inside the Amsterdam arena. Somewhat of a false dawn in that victory in the Amsterdam tournament, where they played pretty well against Liverpool, that's for sure. Koevermans is the furthest forward. Here's Oliver De Koor. Plenty of Leeds fans have made the journey, the short journey, over to Rotterdam for this fixture tonight. Koeman in goal, just agreed a new 2-year deal, or extension to his current deal, Koeman. And as we said, they've not really been able to afford to buy players, but the name of Frank Rijkaard is enough to persuade the likes of Mendes de Silva, the talented Brazilian defender, to remain with Sparta Rotterdam and to acquire Winter. And Reggie Blinker is already here as well. He was signed from RBC at the close of the season. 7 there was Nielsen, one of the more consistent performers last season. Although they're no match for Leeds on the eve of Rijkaard's first season, they should offer something positive to their fans, who saw a total of just 4 victories at home all last season. By the end of this 90 minutes, Rijkaard might have some sort of idea just of how big this job is. Blinker's ball. Bakari's there, that's a good save by Nigel Martin. It's still not away, Bakari again. And that was Rio Ferdinand. And Leeds have won the free kick So another look again, 2 against 1 there. Good position by Bukhari. Just came back and gave himself some space off of Hart. And Rio Ferdinand stopping an almost certain equalising goal there after just 3 minutes. As Robbie Keane Didi van der Jansen does depart as coach of Ajax before the end of the month, then the number 1 contender would certainly be Frank Rijkaard. 7 is Nielsen. Nielsen goes for the return, but the ball had too much pace on it. Bukhari has gone back into the centre again. This is Elzinga. Elzinga's cross and onto the head of Rio Ferdinand. Not a good first touch from Viduka. Mendes da Silva, Reggie Blinker. Bukhari has dropped deep looking for possession. He's had a positive opening period. And 9 in the centre is Koevermans. If they can get it across, Koevermans was too slow there. The ball is placed in not the easiest of positions for it. Danny Koevermans played just 4 times for the first team. Is not a first choice regular, but he might find himself this season as they've shuffled around, looking to try and find a combination that's going to at least ease some of the relegation worries. Bukhari, it's too long for him. That's such an amazing start to the season. There was real hope here in the stadium after an opening draw with Roda, which is no bad result, but it was followed by a 3-0 victory over Ajax. But then it all really did go pear-shaped. For the second time in 2 seasons, it was the playoffs for Sparta. Well, they were only defeated once and they won 4 times, so they equalled their record of home victories in a space of a month. Been a quiet close season, of course, in the transfer market for Leeds United, but then really when you look at the strength and depth of the squad, you'd have to wonder what they really do need any more players for, and certainly it wouldn't be that easy to attract players here in the first place to sit on a substitutes bench waiting for a first choice or an opportunity. There goes D'accord. Top scorer last season, Viduka, and was subject of plenty of interest from some of the big names around Europe during the last couple of months. Real Madrid, Roma as well were reported to be weighing up a bit. Full squad virtually here tonight. Gary Kelly, Jason Wilcox, Lee Bowyer, Anna Smith, Jonathan Woodgate, all on the substitutes bench, and all you would expect to take some part in this game before the end of the night. Leeds leading then, 10 minutes or so gone here, by a 1-0. There's Robbie Keane. Well, they certainly bemoaned his loss when he went from Inter last season. He settled in and made quite a few friends over there, and there were more and just a few that were impressed with his enthusiasm and his ability. And certainly when you consider what he produced for Leeds in the season that has just gone, Inter could have done very much with somebody in his mould to put the ball in the net. Christian Vieri and Sukur and Rekobat having terrible seasons come the end of it. This is Harry Kewell. Kewell going on his own. And another Harry Kewell looking forward on the eve of a new season to an injury-free year. Of Of course, we'll be hoping as well that Australia make it to the World Cup finals next year. Looking ahead to the final match that they have to play in their campaign, which will be the 5th place side in the South American zone. And that could still be Brazil. What a match. Desperately unlucky, though, the Australians, in the way in which the World Cup system works for them. They really are given a tough task to make it even into the finals, and consider how many games they've played along the way as well. O'Leary, of course, done exceptionally well to get players such as Kuehl, and Robbie Keane for that matter. Kuehl tied up again on another long-term contract, a 5-year deal he signed last summer. And when you look at the inflated fees that are being paid around Europe for, well, sometimes approaching average players, then what sort of money would you pick for Harry Kuehl? It would surely be between 25 and 30 million pounds on what he's done so far. Consider too, he's only 23 years of age, or 23 this year. Given away to Viduka. Keane is the only one in the centre. 5 is Tom Sear. Sear signed from Ajax in the summer. Debutant in the side tonight, Bushiba, the number 6. That's a glorious ball. Across to Nielsen, good play by Nielsen. Icardi is in the centre, right on the head though of Rio Ferdinand, and is rarely going to be troubled with balls like that. As Harry Kuehl, D'accord and Kuehl combining well together. Keane turns, looking for some width outside him. Viduka through the centre. D'accord is on the edge of the penalty area. Kuehl coming, might not need him, might go on his own. This is Viduka. Viduka shot! Oh, what a good finish by Mark Viduka. Robbie Keane setting him up. And Leeds United lead here by 2-0 in Rotterdam inside 15 minutes. A sign of things to come then, hopefully, for him this season. Viduka. Didn't have the greatest start indeed to his Leeds United career, remember, but it was all forgotten on that glorious day when he scored all 4 goals against Liverpool last season. 22 in total for him last season, the top scorer. And he too has signed an improved 5-year deal in July of this year. This is good play again by Harry Kuehl. This is great plays. He got enough to keep it in there, just ran out of play. Back to full fitness these days after the Achilles injury, and he was sorely missed at times last year. The FA's Young Player of the Year in 1999 and 2000. That was kept in well by D'accord. Kuehl is being pulled all over the place. Arnhem Winter. Well, you never lose the experience, you never lose anything but the pace, and Winter lost that a few years ago. He's played really very infrequently over the past 2 or 3 seasons. Kukari has gone through the centre, so too was Koymans in a decent position, but again it all falls flat. Play again by Viduka. D'accord, and is it onside? No. Harry Kuehl just straying offside. Oliver D'accord. 7.2 million signing when he re-signed from Lens. Back to the UK after just 1 season in France. From along the way to the UEFA Cup semi-finals. Those disciplinary problems were particularly visible in his first stay in England with Everton, and indeed on his debut, remember, where he was sent off in the Champions League qualifier against 1860 Munich, have all disappeared, and he really has blossomed into a great player. Now a chance again as Leeds are carved open at the back, and this time Danny Mills is across to cover. "17 minutes gone then. Leeds leading here in Rotterdam by 2-0, and it could be forced through for number 3 here as Robbie Keane is going on his own again. There's Nielsen. Really does look so full of energy, Robbie Keane. There's Reggie Blinker, spent some time of course in the Premier League. And there's Nielsen. Only 1 goal though there last season, despite his relatively consistent performances, but in terms of assists he was up at the top of the pile in Rotterdam. Few people around here incidentally wondering whether or not Frank Rijkaard was actually going to slip the shorts back on again. There's Viduka. Oh, Viduka making space for himself and then getting lost. Might find his way to Harry Kewell. Kewell will get it back again. Viduka behind him, Robbie Keane in the centre. Leeds keeping possession well. This is good play from Leeds. Decor. So difficult to take off the ball. That was great play there by David Batty. And in the end, it was brought to a halt. Going back to the Rijkaard story, when he first came here, some 1,600 people turned up to see the opening training session. It doesn't sound a lot if you're a Leeds United fan maybe, but when you consider this is a 12,000-seater capacity stadium and they play to an average crowd of 6 or 7, it's an enormous number. Rijkaard still only 38 years of age, which is just 4 years older indeed than Arne Winter. It was the usual case of lack of cash which forced the previous coach to finish. Is Reggie Blinker, and he's going to win a corner, is he? Just. And Danny Mills was taking no prisoners there, and the look on the face of Reggie Blinker says it all. Bacardi is in there. Mendes de Silva's come forward as well, but it was again served up on a plate. Viduka. Kewell waiting for some support to arrive. And looking for the overlapping run of Ian Hart. No match in the middle of the field at the moment, Sparta, even with the experience of Winter. The previous boss here, Willem van Hanegem, was told as early as February that there would be no money for him available in the summer. And so it was a real surprise to many that Rijkaard came here, and you can imagine that he didn't come if there was not at least a certain guarantee that even if it was a meagre sum was made available, and money obviously has been made available. That's through by Mendes de Silva, is going to go for the return. Breaks down again, Decor breaks it down. was a little too cute then by Harry Kuehl. There's Blinker. Already begin to see though some of the influence of Rijkaard coming through. That was a good ball from Bukhari going back into the centre. Waiting for Goosen to get the ball across. And the shot charged down in the end, and no problem there for Nigel Martin. "35 years of age on the 11th of August. First £1 million keeper. Made his name, of course, under Jerry Francis at Bristol Rovers, who at that particular point, I think we're right in saying actually loaned the club the money to actually go out and buy him. Here's Viduka. That's a lovely ball from Mark Viduka and Robbie Keane. The pair of them have looked simply irresistible so far this evening, and if this is a taster of what's to come, the understanding looks to be there right from the off. Three goals to nil. You never know, if he starts continuing to play like this, then Marcello Lippi, the man that signed him, might pop back in and take him away again. Lippi, of course, these days is back at Juventus. Nice little touch again by Decor. He's so economical with his possession, rarely gives it away at all. It is David Batty, another who's returned to fitness, and again Batty going in. Shove in the back by number 4. Here. Britain's most expensive teenager, remember, at the time when he went to Coventry for £6 million back in 1999. That was just before the comments made by Alec Ferguson. Now here's Harry Kuehl. Kuehl does well again to get to the byline. Viduka is there. Viduka stretching over this time. 6 at the back is Rio Ferdinand, and falls to Reggie Blinker. Dominic Matteo, Scottish international these days. And another never seemed to really find the levels of consistency that he has done at Leeds with Liverpool, probably due entirely to the fact that he never got a run in the side like he's had in a Leeds United shirt. Now, is this going to be another? And well, this time Keane was just a little too slow to get there. Viduka flicking it over the top of the oncoming keeper, Koeman. A class apart from anything they're going to meet in Eredivisie this season for sure. Frank Koeman then with the goal kick for Sparta. Again, easy for Rio Ferdinand. Cardi looking for some space and some width, looking for Anders Nielsen, but he wasn't there. Broken up again, that time by Harry Kuehl. It's something of a shame, really, that Leeds United aren't in the Champions League this season, after they thrilled virtually everybody that saw them throughout the campaign. And how quickly did they learn last year? They might not have been too aware of what they were capable of in Milan or Rome at the start of last season, but by the end of it they certainly were. It was a fantastic European performance virtually every time they set foot on a field in any country, Leeds. Now two in the centre, one of whom is Koeman's. And it's only of any use, of course, if the ball finds its way there. The UEFA Cup, though, regardless of the status it may have had a couple of years ago, Liverpool's performance in the final last year has certainly done something to raise the profile of that competition. There's no doubt as well that the UEFA Cup will change in format in the coming years. Well, of course, these days beginning to be mentioned in dispatches as a possible replacement maybe for Alex Ferguson. For all the promise and for all the good play, the Leeds United fans will, and of course the board and the club and the players, want to see some trophies at some stage. He will have done, as we said, the hardest job of the summer, which is keeping the team together, which is no mean feat, and testimony as well to his own, this is David O'Leary, interpersonal skills. And of course the status that he now has as a coach throughout the footballing world. There's another man who's got some status in the footballing world. Wasn't indeed the first choice to take over as coach here either. That was Adrie Koester, who turned down the offer from Sparta to replace Willem van Hanegem. He was a former coach of Willem II and Roda, and he's been with Excelsior since 1997. Good covering tackle that, and it's going to give away a corner though. Anders Nielsen. Ian Hart to take the corner for Leeds United, who lead by 3-0 here in Rotterdam. Hart then with the corner. Well, he's had to endure an awful lot over the past few years, hasn't he, David Batty? Re-signed by David O'Leary, who said at the time he should never really have gone away. Came back to full fitness just before the turn of the year. His partnership in the middle of the field with Oliver de Kool was something of a feature of the months that followed. It was again another injury, a calf injury, this time against Bradford City, that frustrated his end yet again. It was O'Leary's first signing back in 1998. Goes back a long way as well, Batty. You can remember that he was part of the title-winning side. Now Martin has come. Wasn't needed in the end because Rio Ferdinand was there and marshalled the situation. Koeman's fooled by the run of the ball. Is this the season he's going to force his way into the England squad as a number one? He's only a few years younger, remember, than David Seaman. Signed by Howard Wilkinson, remember, for £2.25 million. Back in 1996. He's of course enjoyed the best form of his life, Nigel Martyn here. Kieferman's trying to wheedle his way past David Batty, and he's taken a bang on the head for his troubles. And he gets the impression that somehow Sparta were not expecting quite as competitive a game as they're getting here. Leeds fans making all the noise on the terraces, used to travelling Europe now, of course, albeit in the UEFA Cup next season. But when you look down the list of qualifiers for the UEFA Cup, it is no easy option there. And consider too the fact that they've still to pick up those that fail in the Champions League as well come Christmas. It's a major achievement to win it. Fuel in the wall along with Matteo, David Batty on the end. And as Nielsen stands over it, kills it. Beautiful free kick by Anders Nielsen. And Sparta Rotterdam have a goal. It's 3-1 here. Well, Nigel Martyn won't be too happy with that. He didn't have to go too far, and when he did move, it was too late. They only scored one goal all last season. And as Nielsen, as we said before, it was his assist ratio that was worth noting. If he's capable of doing that from those distances, then perhaps you may see him acquire more of the ball around the penalty area. Just over the half-hour mark then inside this first half. Leeds United leading by 3-1. Robbie Keane on 45 seconds. Mark Viduka making it 2-0 after 6 minutes or so. And Viduka setting up Keane, this time returning the compliment, as Keane made it 3-0 with 17 minutes gone. Here he is again, Nielsen. Has done an awful lot of running off the ball. The ball jumping quick into the face there of Anders Nielsen. Nielsen again. Good enough to get past Ian Hart. But again, Leeds back into control of possession. The coach has been called on. Doesn't look too serious. Just pulled out at the last minute. It was just there. It was the third little attempt. It was a niggling little dig there. Seemed to stand on Harry Kewell. by Hart. And there's De Silva. He's had a good opening period in this game, De Silva. Leeds just getting hassled a little more now when they're in possession. Rijkaard trying to stir his team up from the touchline. There's Viduka. Hart. Forward by Ferdinand, looking to get it wide for Eric Bakker. Riddick to be taken then by Goosen. Looking for Koivermans, Bakari. Viduka. Eric Bakker leaves it this time for Danny Mills. Plenty forward for Leeds in this attack. Danny Mills, little flick in with the outside of his boot, trying to set it up on the edge of the penalty area, looking for Viduka. Viduka getting it wide, and in the middle there once again was Harry Kuehl in a good position, but this time the cross too near to Frank Koeman. Substitutes off the bench to warm up as Decor picks up possession of the ball for Leeds. There he is again, but still, even under intense pressure, manages to keep possession in Leeds' hands. There he is again, down he goes this time. The French national team that played in the Confederations Cup earlier on in the summer. That's where he earned his first full caps. Ian Hart then to take the free kick for Leeds. Rio Ferdinand is there. And indeed it came off Rio Ferdinand last. And the club's record signing, and at £18 million, it was expensive then when it happened. Of course, these days it looks like shrewd business. No surprises here, Aaron Vinter beaten for pace there. There's the goal scorer for Sparta, Anders Nielsen, slipped inside by Elzinga. Nielsen, it's gone out of play. having seen Sparta Rotterdam a couple of times last year, if you were watching the coverage of the Eredivisie throughout the course of last season, then you can already have seen some notable improvements. They may be being well beaten here, but it's no real surprise. As we said at the outset, considering the quality of the side, and Rijkaard will not have expected anything other than a defeat here by a side eminently stronger in every department of his own. But they don't look as clueless as they did at times last season. It's hard to make predictions based on what you're seeing in friendly games, but and there's nothing else to go on. So the one notable absentee for them this season will be El Khattabi, who was the top goal scorer here, who's gone to AZ. Chiba, as you say, came in as part of the deal that took him away. Now, in the centre, they can get it in there, is Koevermans, and again, the quality of the final ball is well below the standard needed. Koevermans, Mendes de Silva has gone forward as well, clearing head at that time by Eric Bakker. And away come Leeds, and they could catch Sparta on the counter-attack here if they're quick enough. They'd committed plenty of players forward. And Matteo. Hart. Huel again is being watched very, very closely indeed. Looking to try and thread it through there for Viduka. Oh, and Koeman, obviously confidence in himself. No, play on, says the referee. 10 is Bukhari. And he's been and played everywhere, Artem Winter. Enjoyed a great career in Italy, I think with Lazio. He was also there with Inter as well. He was a big friend of Paul Gascoigne at the time that Gaza signed for Lazio. The two hit it off rather immediately and have remained friends ever since. Now Harry Kewell setting it up. Oh dear. Well, Robbie Keane is none too impressed with that. Well, it's about the only low point on a pretty good first half performance, this by Leeds. Bakker, remember, providing the cross for Keane's goal after just 45 seconds, and I think Keane was expecting a repeat. It's nudged forward by Hoosen. Blinker. Kabi. Well, he's going to go challenge, and a little nudge in the back, right in front of the assistant. Elzinga's throw. And Nigel Martin being chased down by Reggie Blinker. Vinter chasing it in the middle. Looked to be walking fairly gingerly then. Nigel Martin. Held up again well by Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane just trying to float one over the top into the path of Eric Bakker, but he finds a way back to Frank Koeman. And Koeman finds Zaram Vinter. To Elzinga. There's Koevermans. Koevermans gets it out wide to Bukhari. Koevermans again might get a second bite at it, but it came off of Rio Ferdinand. And that is the end of the first half. And there were things for Rijkaard to be pleased with in his side's first half performance, none more so than the goal from Anders Nielsen, fully 30 yards, but all things considered, it's been pretty run-of-the-mill stuff for Leeds United. They've controlled this match from start to finish. Roy Keane opening the scoring on 45 seconds. Keane providing for Viduka on 7 minutes, 2-0. And Viduka providing for Keane on 17 to make it 3-0. Leeds have looked in very good shape indeed. Half-time then here in Rotterdam. It's Sparta 1, Leeds 3. Welcome back, everybody. The half-time score, Leeds leading Sparta Rotterdam by 3-1. 2 goals for Robbie Keane, 1 for Mark Viduka. 3 changes at half-time for the Sparta side. Koevermans has gone off up front to be replaced by Bram Marbus. The back, Bezai comes in at right back, and Dave Vandermeer in a central defensive position. Sear has gone off, so Elzinga, Sear and Koevermans out. Vandermeer, Bezai and Marbus are in. Now there's a first chance here for Marbus. 29 years of age, 5 goals for him last season. And at the moment, as far as we can see, there are no changes for the Leeds United side. Although that surely will change at the before the end of the night. Before there was a Bakker swept out wide by David Matty. Bezai across to cover. Bezai, another of the Moroccan contingent, heavy Moroccan contingent in this side. Now, if Keane can get it across, he does. And it was just behind Eric Bakker. Leeds starting off strongly again, as they did inside the first 45. Danny Mills. Bakker fighting Mills again. Mills with a little ball. And swept clear anywhere will do. Hussen with a clearing ball. Bukhari looking to spread it wide. It's a good ball by Bukhari. Marbus is making his way into the centre. This is Nielsen waiting up for the overlap from Bezai. Getting it across. Oh, that wasn't far away. And it needed somebody just on the end of it to tap it home. Well, that's Bezai, the new right back. Viduka's layoff wasn't good enough. Rio Ferdinand, and back to Nigel Martin. Then, of course, under pressure from Paul Robinson, who performed so gallantly. Remember that performance of Robinson's in the game against Barcelona in the Champions League. Peter Taylor then picking him for the squad for the England friendly when they went to Italy back in November of last year. Marbus has gone into the centre. There goes Bezai again on the overlap. He's a really busy little player, just trying to do a little too much, but he still might get away with it. Danny Mills. Leeds come away with possession. And a little more snap and a little more bite about this opening few minutes. These exchanges from Sparta. But there are no more greater competitors than he. David Batty. 33 years of age now, Batty. Bugatti. Marbus is in the centre. They need some width. And as Nielsen's ball, Marbus was second to the ball there, as Rio Ferdinand spotted the danger. Only Keane in the centre. Eric Backer's making his way forward now. Little overrun from Harry Kuehl. Besai, 20 games he played last year. It was a bit of a mixed season for him, picked up a few injuries. He's only 22 years of age, the Moroccan. He's never really the first choice, beginning his third season here. Icardi. That's a glorious ball by Icardi, and the first touch from Anders Nielsen in the right direction, but a little too much pace on the ball. Marbus laying it off. Lots of movement from Sparta in these opening minutes. There's Danny Mills. Still only 24, although has the look of someone a few years older. Filled a number of roles, Danny Mills. It's been a good year for him, culminating with that first full cap for England against Mexico. And when you consider back in 97-98 he was playing for Norwich City reserves, it's been all one way for him ever since. Kuehl will get a second bite at it. Keane is furthest forward at the moment. Viduka in front of him. Four is Decor. Here's Oliver Decor. Decor is fouled, and it's going to be a Leeds free kick. And the chant on the terraces is for Ian Hart to step up and maybe produce something special. There he is, kills one. Oh, yes! Well, a somewhat languid approach to the ball. Lifted it over, just look at this. One step. And beautifully curled into the corner of Koeman's net. To be fair, he wasn't particularly well positioned, was he? I don't think he was expecting a free kick to be taken that quickly, Koeman. And he had some ground to cover it. And Leeds go 4-1 up. Vandermeer. Blinker. And sandwich there. He's never really been in any danger of becoming one of the major strikers in Eredivisie. Marbus. 29 years of age now. Was at his most prolific during his time with Go Ahead Eagles. 14 in a season of 34 games is the best he's managed. In fact, only twice since 92-93, including that season, has he broken into double figures, and the first time with 11 goals with Excelsior back in 94-95. Van der Meer. The thought process is going in the right direction, just the execution of, at the moment, is lacking, and that's what Rijkaard may find most difficult to cope with. Getting the ideas across is one thing, having the players available to produce on the pitch what you want them to do in a club of this size. Van der Meer just keeping the ball in play. To Bushiba's 35-yard ball. They've been rarely troubled at the back so far, Leeds United. Quickly taken and just kept in play. This is Anders Nielsen. Only Marbus is in the centre. Nielsen looks up. Tries to find Marbus, but underneath him is Rio Ferdinand. And that is no competition. D'accord. 9 is Viduka. He's on his own. He's going to have to go on his own or wait for Baka. Baka's there. If they can get it out to him. Good play, Viduka. Viduka. And almost created space. And a chance out of nothing. Two goals in his first season, Mark Viduka. 27 in his first season at Celtic a few years ago. Well, Decour was not the only new face in that French squad that went over to play in the Confederations Cup. All new positions as well that were taken up. Robert Pires playing in a more central role now. A chance for Marbus to swing a boot at the ball, and it doesn't roll kindly for him. Just saying, if he's going to become an international on a regular basis, Decour, he's going to have to push out a few big names. Nielsen's had a good opening to this half again. Marbus just jumping into his man. As we said now, this is D'accord. Harry Kuehl. Kuehl going on his own. D'accord again. Dacour's ball, and there is number 5. It's Eric Baka. twisting and turning, the ball moving very quickly around the edge of that 6-yard area, and in the end Sparta just didn't know where the ball was or where Eric Bakker was. Five goals to one. They were all looking at whereabouts Viduka was. Now a couple of substitutions coming up here for Leeds. Viduka is coming off after scoring 2 goals. And the other substitution, the number 16, Lee Bowyer, is on for, it looks like Eric Bakker, who's taken a knock. So Bowyer and Smith for Viduka and Bakker. First touch there for Lee Bowyer. Smith. Lee Bowyer, Player of the Year at Leeds United for the second time in 2 years. Of course, has had well documented off-the-field problems, but hopefully this season they can be put behind him. And surely an England call-up is beckoning for Lee Bowyer. In his position, there are a few better of English nationality, if any, in his position. And indeed, had it not been for those problems, then you can be almost certain that he would have been very much part of Sven Göran Eriksson's squad. Only knows one way how to play here, David Batty. The ultra-competitive way. I remember a few eyebrows being raised when Bowyer arrived at Leeds United for what was considered to be quite a large fee, £2.6 million back in '97. 5 goals to 1, Leeds United lead. And whenever they've felt like increasing the tempo, then they've gone up the other end and scored. And a few little niggles appearing in this match in the centre of the field. Here's Alan Smith. There he is, Lee Bowyer. Smith. That's great play. Smith is in a decent position. D'accord making his way to the edge of the penalty area. Doesn't find anybody though. And another one goes astray from Harry Kuehl. Nowhere to go. Picardi needs some width either side of him, looking to find out where Nielsen had gone. Vandermeer. Blinker back to Vandermeer. Vandermeer up to Marbus. Marbus to Bukhari. And Rio Ferdinand back to Nigel Martin.
Tell me when you're ready.
Another substitution maybe about to be taking place for Leeds United. And as we said, it hasn't been what you could call a torturous exercise for Leeds, as Liverpool and Manchester United have gone on their globe-trotting tours to answer to the needs of their fans in the Far East and Asia. As we said, more of a gentle limbering up, but maybe that's going to do them more good than harm. So far, we've not heard anything from David O'Leary about the fact that his side are tired, as we had done from Gerard Houllier. Four in the centre. Dacor. Dacor again. Smith leaves it. Keane. Robbie Keane. Good save. Robbie Keane. And Alan Smith. David Batty again doing well. It was Batty's vision and ability to provide a decent ball in. Dacor. Smith leaving it. Robbie Keane. This was a good save by Koeman. The follow-up run from Batty. Batty's ball across. And then it was all very easy there. And this is not how it was supposed to be for Frank Rijkaard. Maybe now he realizes just exactly the size of the task that awaits him, but he's not going to be facing sides of this caliber week in and week out. And there have been, for him, a few positive signs during this match that would point to the fact that maybe this season they're not going to struggle as badly as they did last year. The only downside, of course, of this is that Leeds haven't really been tested in any department. Alan Smith is in there, and it was a late challenge by Goosen. And so it's going to be another couple of substitutions. Gary Kelly has come on for Leeds United, and we have another substitution as well for Sparta. Jason Trammell has come on. There he is. Attacking midfielder Jason Trammell. There's Oliver Dacor. Over the top, Smith goes chasing. Vicardi, and he's going to win a free kick this time. The challenge by Oliver Dacor. And another substitution for Leeds United, the number 15, it's Jason Wilcox who's come on. Now a chance here for Besai. And the substitution's coming very quick and thick and fast at the moment. So Wilcox is on. So impressive, remember, when he re-signed for Leeds United, that he picked up an England recall, and then the groin injury that he missed Euro 2000. He's been hampered with injuries really for the past 3-4 seasons or so. Leeds leading here by 6 goals to 1. Gary Kelly was, until Batty came back to Leeds, and more appearances than any member of the current squad. It's a big competition with Danny Mills for the position at right back. Republic of Ireland international, of course, will be hoping to give the Dutch even more cause for pain and grief. Coming up in September, of course, when the Republic of Ireland face Holland in that vital World Cup qualifying match. Al-Ghattawi, or El Bukhari rather, is coming off, and the substitution brings on the number 18, Langerak. Langerak, more of a midfielder, but another one of the almost veteran status, 34 years of age. Now they're queuing up in the centre. If Kuhl can get a ball across, well, what Kuhl was doing there, only he will know. Langerak, a big part player really around the league, spent a little time at NEC and AZ before arriving here. And the whistle goes again as another infringement calls to the referee's attention, and it's a free kick to Sparta. Hart, scorer of that fine free kick. Smith, Bowyer was running just behind him. Free kick goes Leeds' way. Ooh, and didn't realise it was the referee. And doesn't really want to get involved too much at this stage of the season. And Bowyer just being told to chill out. Don't think he realised then, do you, that that was the referee who was putting his arm on his shoulder. No shortage of options here for Leeds. Ferdinand forward, Smith's in there. Referee not happy with the distance the wall is. More cause for worry. And this time it just flashes across the 6-yard area. It's a corner. Well, all the noise is coming, as you can probably hear, behind us from the Dutch bench. Haven't looked good defending set plays so far during this match. It's Gary Kelly. Kuhl. They're getting nowhere near the ball these days, Sparta, and that was Aaron Vinto who was caught out. Slide of foot just too quick for him. And the night at the moment can't come quickly enough to an end for the home side here. Of course, the fans of Sparta get their nose rubbed in it every day from their more famous neighbours just down the road at Feyenoord. And whilst there was 1,500 here for Frank Rijkaard's first training session, there were 60,000, believe it or not, at the open day for Feyenoord. Actually, blinkers coming off, and helpfully for every commentator around the world who's watching this game, the man with no number, but his name is Simi Yim. He's a midfield player. It's his second season with Sparta, and he's also obviously got a major part to play this season because he's been allocated no shirt number. So there you go, it's Yim, who is the man with no number. As we were saying, 60,000 people turned up at the De Kuip for the open day, the annual open day, when all the new signings are paraded. And what they normally do is they fly them in by helicopter. And, well, the frown is growing deeper and deeper by the hour, isn't it, here? And, of course, the big star signing is Pierre van Hooijdonk this year. Dominic Matteo has come off. And the Leeds United number 18 is Jonathan Woodgate. Another one with the odd off-field problem to contend with at the moment. And it's been a difficult time for both player and club and everybody concerned. Oh, was Gary Kelly. Rio Ferdinand. Leeds just happy to keep hold of possession and see the game out, really. Free kick to Leeds. Wilcox leaving it. Ferdinand. A nice little bit of play there by Harry Gill. Such great technician with both his feet, Harry Gill. There's Jim. And apart from that opening few minutes in this second half, they have rarely got into the Leeds United half. Never mind tested the goalkeeper or defenders. Bowyer was making a run. Smith almost finding a way through to him. It's going to go Sparta's way. Well, you wonder whether or not the thought going through his mind is, at this stage and this stage of my career, did I really need this? If he thought he was coming on an easy ticket, he's had a rude awakening here. Johnson is out wide. There's Bushiba. Oh, he's Ramford and Bushiba's in. Oh, and Nigel Martin really did feel that. Bushiba, it was a 50-50, had every right to go for the ball and to stretch. And Martin was brave there, to say the least. Ferdinand's first time. Oh, that really was painful for Nigel Martin. And Bushiba we've not seen too much of in this second half. Looks as if he injured himself more than he injured Nigel Martin. Thankfully for David O'Leary, Nigel Martin is up and about and he's okay. Seizing one way and then the other. That was good play by Bushiba. And the ball just rolled away from him, and he overstretched himself. Indeed, he's going to be led off the field here, Bushiba, for a period of time to recover maybe. Leeds United, if you've just joined us, leading by 6 goals to 1 here. Robbie Keane opening the scoring after 45 seconds. Smith is in a decent position there, just failed to get hold of the ball. Keane and Viduka combining for goal number 2. Viduka and Keane combining for number 3. Anders Nielsen scoring a cracking 30-yard free kick, which Nigel Martin will be a little disappointed about conceding. And then Ian Hart with a free kick special all of his own to make it 4. The call providing for Bakker to make it 5, and Batty scores for Smith, making it 6. Looking ahead to the fixtures, of course, that have been out for a while. Leeds United, first match is at home. On the 18th of August is against Southampton. And Bushiba takes no further part. But there's a real test in the following 2 games, both away in the capital on the following Wednesday against Arsenal, and then on the following Saturday against West Ham United. Standout matches, well, what about October being a little difficult month? Liverpool against Leeds on the 13th of the 10th, Leeds against Chelsea the 21st, Manchester United against Leeds on the 27th, and Leeds Tottenham on the 3rd of the 11th. So October looks as if it could be a pivotal month. I was getting it out wide. Vandermeer has gone on the overlap. 15 is Trammell. Lee Bowyer getting forward in support of Alan Smith. Decore is centre field. Here he is, Oliver Decore. Smith. Bowyer's right in front of him. There he is. Bowyer needs to get some width, looking out wide to see if Gary Kelly was there. Here he is, Gary Kelly. Smith is in the centre, takes a deflection, Koeman across. Coverage from the Dutch Eredivisie will be again starting next week as the Dutch season gets underway on the same day as the English Premier League, and coverage once again on Channel 5 on Thursday evenings. You'll be able to follow the fortunes of Ajax, PSV, Feyenoord and the like. It's been a busy season in the close season in the transfer market for Eric Jarretz at PSV, and they've strengthened considerably already, the strongest squad in Holland. Bowyer, Bowyer was challenged late. He tried to get out of the way. I don't think it's any real malice. I think they're getting caught really. Kelly. And the first 45 minutes, this was anything but a friendly match. In the second half, Sparta really have, after that first few minutes, given up the ghost. They've been chasing possession of the ball and getting nowhere near it virtually the entire second period. And sometimes, rather than give hope, all it does is underline your major weaknesses. And you can't imagine too many Sparta fans going away from here this evening with feelings of optimism about anything positive that they've seen in this game. That points to anything other than a season of struggle. Times like these, in matches like these, friendly matches in particular, but it would be kinder if the referees were allowed to actually end proceedings earlier so as to not inflict any more pain and embarrassment on the side that's being so comprehensively outplayed out there. David O'Leary will go away from here. I'm in the knowledge that at least he's found out that his striking department is working as effectively as ever. Remember, 31 goals scored before tonight in the 7 pre-season friendlies, and only 1 conceded. Another 6 tonight. So there won't be any shortage of confidence amongst the likes of Keane, Viduka and Smith as they go into this new season. And there may still be time to rub further salt into the wounds here. Dakor. Something of ironic applause from the Sparta fans applauding. And they pick up possession, and it's played out of play because Dakor has taken a knock. There'll be no point in taking any chances. As you said, there'll be competition as well for Nigel Martin this year. He too won't be able to relax and take things easy. I'll take it for granted that he's the #1. And again, Harry Kewell's run comes to nothing at all. There's Nielsen. Again, the ball to Marbus is short. Marbus' reaction's too slow. That's what he can do, though. There's sure to be, on occasions in the coming season, times when you see passes like that from Aaron Vinter being eaten up by the strikers in front of them as they find a way through less than watertight defences. The Dutch league isn't renowned for its quality of defending. And that's it. It's full time in Rotterdam. And Leeds United cruise to a 6-1 victory. Frank Rijkaard in his first match in charge. Well, he now realises the size of the task that awaits him. He's unused to working in conditions and with quality like he's got. And he will feel nothing but envy for David O'Leary on the eve of a new season. Final score then, in a comprehensive victory, was Leeds United 6, Sparta Rotterdam 1.